You do not beg for sunlight. You do not audition for breath. And yet, you were taught to petition for your provision, to perform for permission, to prove that what is native to your spirit must first be purchased through pain. But listen closely now. There is something ancient stirring in your bones. A memory returning. A knowing rising. You were never meant to earn what was always etched into your divine inheritance. The lie was installed before you knew how to say no. That abundance belonged to those who hustled loud enough. That wealth was a reward for struggle. That rest was only for the worthy. But these were not your truths. These were the echoes of a world forgetting its divinity. You were trained to survive. But you were created to overflow. Say this out loud. I no longer chase supply, I remember it. Because supply is not somewhere out there. It is in your voice. It is in your breath. It is in the stillness between your thoughts. It is in the pause before you reach for the thing you were taught to fear. It is you. Has always been you. You are not the one asking. You are the one containing. You are the field, not the farmer. The vault, not the seeker. The evidence, not the applicant. What if I told you? You were never denied. Only delayed by an identity that forgot what it was sent to remember. You bowed before false thrones. Handed your worth to institutions. And waited for a system to tell you that your light was finally loud enough to be paid. But heaven already said yes. Before your first cry. Before your first fear. Before you ever thought you had to earn what was written into your name. You were not born to climb ladders. You were born to build temples. And those temples rise the moment you stop running from what has always lived inside of you. Breathe. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not cursed. You are not missing anything. You are the garden. And the seed was always within you. So what if your next level doesn't require more doing, but more remembering? Say it again, this time with your chest open and your soul listening. I no longer chase supply, I remember it. Because this is not a hustle. This is a holy homecoming. You are not trying to attract money. You are remembering that you are the frequency it trusts. That you are the current it responds to. That you are the one it was waiting to remember itself through. You are not being tested. You are being asked to return. Return to the you who didn't doubt. To the you who didn't shrink. To the you who didn't apologize for receiving. To the you who did not question if overflow belonged to her. Your soul is tired not from effort, but from pretending you are not already enough. Let it go now. The myth of the grind. The gospel of the wounded. The cult of the unworthy. You were never built to beg. You were born to decree. Say this. I remember who I was before the world told me I had to prove it. This is not manifestation. This is resurrection. You are not creating a new life. You are unearthing the one that has always belonged to you. Let your nervous system receive this. You do not need to do more. You need to agree more. Agree with your soul. Agree with your source. Agree with the reality where you were always seen, chosen, supplied. You are not trying to become. You are allowing what already is. You don't need another miracle. You are the miracle. You don't need a second chance. This is the first moment you've ever fully remembered. Let this be your vow. I no longer perform for provision. I return to the temple of remembrance. I am already held. Already honored. Already answered. There is nothing left to prove. Nothing left to earn. Nothing left to chase. You were never meant to exhaust yourself trying to qualify for what your spirit already carries. And now, the wind inside your lungs becomes your new signature. Your voice becomes the vessel. Your stillness becomes the strategy. Your worth becomes the wealth. If you feel this truth already living inside your cells, type, "It was always mine." Let the comment box become a sacred altar. Let your words write a new contract. And as you type, feel your body soften. Feel your timeline align. Feel your fear release. Feel your inheritance return. Because you were never asking for too much. You were only asking from too small a version of yourself. But she's gone now. And you're still here. Which means the truth survived. The lie said you had to earn. The truth says you only had to remember. And you just did. Before your name was spoken by human lips. It was whispered through heaven's halls. Before you were wrapped in form. You were wrapped in divine decree. Before you could ever ask for more. It was already written. You would never lack. There was a moment, holy moment, before time wore clothes, before calendars, before pain. There was a moment when God spoke. And what was spoken was you. A law was written in light. And you were the echo of that command. Not an accident. Not an afterthought. Not a request that had to beg for approval. You were already the approval. You were already the yes. This is what you are now remembering. That you came here with a covenant. Not a contract to earn your way into worthiness. But a soul-sealed vow to remember it. Say this aloud, with the voice that still remembers Eden. I am the prophecy my lineage longed for. You were never born to suffer through scarcity. You were born to stop it. You were born to speak what your bloodline never dared. You were born to embody what they only dreamed. You were born to end the cycle that says you have to wait. To earn. Prove. To perform for your portion. Well, your portion was promised. And you are the fulfillment of that promise. Feel this truth like a fire rising in your chest. The world trained you into waiting. But heaven had already decided. Heaven never waits. Heaven decrees. And heaven declared. You shall not want. Let this land in your spirit like thunder and peace. You were never supposed to wait this long. The delay was not divine. The delay was inherited. Passed down in silence. In shame. In scarcity beliefs and survival prayers. But the sacred law was never cancelled. It was only covered. And now you are here to uncover it. You are the one. Not in arrogance. But in alignment. You are the one who sees what wasn't spoken. You are the one who dares to believe wealth is not a crime, but a calling. You are the one who says, I will not feel guilty for living in the answer my ancestors wept for. This is the moment you realize. You are not waiting for overflow. Overflow is waiting for you to agree with what has already been decided. Say this in your spirit. I agree with heaven. Say it with no hesitation. Say it with the trembling power of someone remembering her throne. Say it like your life is already shifting. 'Cause it is. The law was never earn and receive. The law was agree and receive. The law was remember and reign. The law was, you are already named, already chosen, already sent. What if your wealth is not a destination, but a return? What if money was never a matter of method, but of memory? You knew this before. Before the stories of guilt and fear. Before the misinterpretations of scripture. Before someone told you it was selfish to be supplied. You knew this when you were pure consciousness. Dancing through the stars. Chosen by light. Written into form with favor braided into your DNA. This is not new information. This is an ancient remembering. You do not build the law. You bow to it. You do not chase alignment. You activate it with your agreement. So now ask your soul this question. What if the entire universe is just waiting for you to speak the same language as heaven? What if God already answered? And you were just trained to ignore the sound. You are not calling something new into existence. You are collapsing the distance between your fear and your truth. This is the moment. The remembrance. The reversal. This is when you no longer define yourself by delay, but by divine decree. Say this out loud again. And let it write a new law in your body. I am the prophecy my lineage longed for. Let the voice that broke through trauma become the voice that breaks it. Let the identity that once echoed doubt become the mouthpiece of wealth. You are not fragile. You are sacred. You are not too much. You are finally enough for what was always meant to be remembered. You do not worship money. You embody the vibration that money trusts. You do not hustle for provision. You open your mouth and provision remembers its assignment. This is not blasphemy. This is blueprint. This is not ego. This is embodiment. This is not rebellion. This is return. If you feel your spirit rising, if you feel your timeline realigning, If you feel something sacred whispering, "This is it," then type it now in the comments. I agree with heaven. Let the comment box become a contract. Let your words become the altar. Let your soul witness itself. You are not who you used to be. You are not who they said you were. You are who God decided. Before the womb. Before the world. Before the wound. Heaven has never changed its mind about you. It is only waiting for you to stop arguing and start agreeing. And you just did. There are lullabies you were never meant to fall asleep to. Soft sounds passed down through silence. Hummed by grandmothers who once believed God skipped their name. Whispered by mothers who folded prayers into grocery lists. Chanted in homes where need was louder than faith. You learned to sleep inside a song called Not Enough. But that song was never yours. You inherited the rhythm. But your soul never agreed with the lyrics. And now you wake up. You blink the sleep from your eyes. And feel the ache of a belief that never belonged in your bloodstream. Lack is not your truth. Just your echo. A loop you didn't start. But you're the one chosen to end it. Breathe. Breathe again. Let your cells hear this. Scarcity is not spiritual. It is recycled fear. It is ancient silence. It is trauma humming through time. But you are the new sound. Say this slowly. I do not echo survival. I declare divine supply. Say it again until your tongue forgets how to repeat what was false. You were never created to shrink to fit a lie. Lack is just a program. A subconscious lullaby taught to daughters, who were told being small was holy. But holiness is not hunger. And shrinking has never saved a single soul. This is your awakening. This is where your nervous system starts to trust new music. This is where your voice begins to sound like wealth again. You no longer need more proof to believe you're worthy. You don't need your bank account to bow before your boldness. You don't need another sign. You don't need another reason. You need a new echo. Because reality doesn't start outside of you. It begins with what you echo in silence. It begins with the vibration you allow to continue. The moment you stop repeating the spell of scarcity, you break it. The moment you open your mouth and speak what is divine, you restore what was always yours. So say it again, beloved. I do not echo survival. I declare divine supply. You were not born into lack. You were born into abundance. But raised by those who forgot. You were not born to chase proof. You were born to embody prophecy. And this is the moment prophecy gets louder than programming. This is the sacred reversal. This is the sacred remembering. This is when your voice becomes the axis of overflow. Let this line pierce through every past version of you. You do not lack. You inherited the language of it. But now you return to your native tongue. The voice of the one who never runs dry. You no longer ask, where is the money? You declare, it remembers me. You no longer wonder, will I have enough? You declare, enough is encoded in my identity. This is what it means to rewire the soul. To burn old lullabies with light. To sing the song of the I am. Even when fear tries to harmonize. Say, I no longer repeat trauma just because it feels familiar. Say, I no longer define truth by how long I've believed the lie. Say, I do not echo survival. I declare divine supply. Let this truth vibrate in your chest. God never ran out. Heaven never changed its distribution plan. Abundance was never paused. You were just repeating someone else's fear. But now, you are the one who stops the song. You are the one who says, I am not a victim of economic weather. I am the climate. You are the one who no longer waits for the world to change. You change your world with a word. Your words are not just hopes. They are history rewritten. They are timelines collapsing. They are echoes finally becoming embodiment. Say this with holy fire in your throat. Scarcity is not my story. Say it in the comment space below. Like you're signing a soul contract. Say it like your future depends on it. Say it like the daughter who once wept for provision is now watching you remember how divine you've always been. Scarcity is not your story. You have never been empty. You've only been echoing the sound of empty. But now your echo changes. Now when the world listens to you, here's overflow. When money listens to you, here's peace. When your lineage listens to you, here's redemption. This is no longer about logic. It's about vibration. It's about what happens when you no longer hum the lullaby of fear. When you no longer repeat what broke your mother. When you no longer whisper lack. To your bank account. To your children. To your God. Let this be the breath that interrupts it all. Let this be the moment that cracks the spell. Let this be the decree that ends generations of spiritual shrinking. You are no longer the echo of survival. You are the voice of restoration. You are the sound of supply reactivated. You are the one who turns subconscious repetition into conscious rebirth. Say it one more time. Lo, sacred, sovereign. I do not echo survival. I declare divine supply. And if your soul is rising with this remembrance, if something ancient in you feels like it's coming home, type it now in the comments below. Scarcity is not my story. Let every keystroke be a drumbeat of heaven. Let every letter be proof that you woke up. You are not singing the old song anymore. You are the new sound. And money is already listening. There are realms that do not move until you speak. There are doors that do not open until your voice remembers it was always the key. There are parts of heaven waiting for your sound. You have been quiet for lifetimes, but not the sacred kind of silence. Not the stillness that hears the whispers of angels. No. The silence you learned was survival. The silence you learned was suppression. The silence you learned was shame, disguised as self-control. But the truth is, your words have been gathering light behind the veil, waiting for this moment, waiting for this breath, waiting for you to speak again, not from fear, not from permission, but from divine remembrance. Because the voice of God in you is not an echo, it is origin, and it does not beg, build. Say this out loud. I now speak what was once silenced in me. Say it again, not for others to hear but for the pattern to break. You've been living in the shape of words you never got to say. Sentences you swallowed in rooms that made you small. Affirmations you forgot because no one taught you that your tongue was sacred. But now, the spell breaks. Now, your mouth becomes the place heaven remembers itself. You are not casting wishes. You are commanding reality. This is what Florence meant when she said your word is your wand. This is what the prophets meant when they declared, let there be light. Not ask for light. Or be. Because you carry that same authority. Your voice is not a child in the hallway asking to come in. Your voice is the one who wrote the invitation. When you speak from truth, the universe does not debate you. Bows. It restructures. It moves resources. It lifts veils. It recalls forgotten wealth. Your tongue is a gatekeeper. It either guards the illusion of lack, or it releases divine overflow. Which do you choose? Breathe. Now speak as if God is listening. Because God is not far. God is not elsewhere. God is not waiting to approve you. God is the echo within your chest, rising with your voice. And this world, this physical realm you walk through, it is programmable. Not by effort, not by noise, but by decree. Say it out loud. I no longer speak from fear, I speak from fulfillment. Every time you speak from survival, you extend the illusion. Every time you whisper lack, you water its roots. Every time you joke about being broke, the soil hears you. The vibration doesn't recognize sarcasm. It only obeys the command beneath your breath. So speak wealth. Speak as the one who already holds it. Speak rest. Speak as the one who knows divine supply is spiritual, not circumstantial. Speak clarity. Speak as the one who has been heard by heaven. This is your return to Eden, not with your feet but with your words. You are not applying. You are not negotiating. You are declaring. You are restoring. You are remembering. And when you speak this way, the walls of delay begin to fall. Because what once held you back cannot hear you anymore. You've changed languages. You are no longer fluent in fear. You are no longer echoing doubt. You are no longer prophesying pain with your casual confessions. You now speak from source. Not lack, not guilt, not trauma, but truth. This is why your voice shakes when you try to say something you've never said before. Not because you're lying, but because your cells are trembling under the weight of their own becoming. They are waking up to a new code, a new rhythm, a new blueprint. Say this again. I now speak what was once silenced in me. Say it for the version of you that didn't get to. Say it for the child who learned that speaking was dangerous. Say it for the lineage that only knew how to whisper prayers in the dark. You are the one who breaks the mute covenant. You are the one who rewrites the spell. You are the one who makes the next 7 generations speak from truth. Your words are no longer waiting for the world to agree. They are aligning the world to remember you. Breathe. Feel the pause. This is not just a monologue. This is a resurrection. Because when you speak from your I am, heaven echoes back, so it is. Let the frequency of your voice be the place miracles are born. Let your mouth be the altar. Let your sentences be spells of sacred certainty. You do not try to believe anymore. You do not hope it comes. You do not wait for a sign. You become the sign. You speak as the prophecy. You speak as the scripture. You speak as the portal through which divine wealth enters. No more hiding in polite fear. No more folding your truth to be digestible. No more shrinking your power to protect others from their own forgetfulness. Even if your voice shakes, even if the room feels too quiet, even if the old programming screams, who do you think you are? Answer it loud. I am the one heaven chose to remember. Say it again. Say it with breath. Say it with softness. Say it like your whole life depends on it, because it does. This is your holy reversal. Your voice is not a side effect. It is a source code. What you speak is not commentary, it is creation. And when you speak what was once silenced in you, the universe realigns. The winds shift. The wealth listens. Say it again, this time like the spell it always was. I now speak what was once silenced in me. And if your words are ready to build, if your voice is ready to rise, type it below, in sacred agreement. My mouth makes miracles. You do not have to trade yourself for what was already yours. You do not have to collapse into productivity, exhaustion, or effort to be worthy of what heaven already wrote in your name. Supply is not a prize for performance. It is not wages for worthiness. It is not the reward for how much you suffer, how long you wait, or how small you shrink to be chosen. Supply is spiritual. It is the invisible river that flows not because you hustle, but because you remember. It is the air that fills your lungs without asking for payment. It is the sun that bathes your skin without asking what you've achieved. It is the sacred inheritance you forgot to claim, not because it wasn't yours, but because someone convinced you to audition for it. You were never meant to strive for what was already inside your breath. You were never meant to hustle for what already knew your name before you could speak it. Supply is not earned, it is returned. Say this out loud. My receiving is not a reward, it is a return. This is where the old god of hustle begins to crumble. This is where you stop bowing to the idol of exhaustion. This is where you end the contract that says, I must perform to be provided for. You are not a transaction. You are a temple. You are not a worker in the kingdom. You are the kingdom's reflection. You are not here to earn supply. You are here to embody it. You were told you had to struggle for it. You were told to sacrifice joy for crumbs. You were told to worship busyness and call it devotion. But heaven never wrote that story. Religion did. Capitalism did. Fear did. But God never did. Heaven whispered something quieter, something ancient, something soft, but you were too tired to hear it, too programmed to pause, too trained to chase. But now the old story grows faint, and your spirit begins to rise. The illusion of labor for love begins to collapse, and you realize, supply is not something to chase. It is something to claim, not because you worked for it, but because you remembered it. Not because you earned it, but because it was always yours. Say this with me slowly. Supply is spiritual. You are not the one begging for abundance at the gates. You are the gate. You are not the one waiting on the miracle. You are the mouth that declares it into motion. The rhythm of divine wealth cannot be forced. Must be remembered. It flows at the speed of truth. And truth has never been in a hurry. There is no rush in remembrance. There is no urgency in divinity. God never needed you to hustle to be holy. And your supply was never holding a clipboard, asking if you worked hard enough today. Supply does not speak in hours and deadlines. It speaks in echoes. Of remembrance, of rest, of surrender. It speaks through the way your breath softens when you stop trying. It speaks through the way your nervous system opens when you trust. It speaks through the stillness, not the striving. You are the child of a wealthy kingdom. Why do you keep acting like a beggar? Who taught you that worth was measured in burnout? Who taught you that your value was proven by exhaustion? Who taught you that divine provision only came to those who never rested? Return those lessons. They were never from heaven. Let your spirit say, supply is spiritual. You no longer trade your peace for provision. You no longer trade your rest for relevance. You no longer trade your soul for survival. You walk in a new decree now. Higher law. Softer truth. Say this out loud. My receiving is not a reward, it is a return. Let that live in your belly. Let that melt the shame you carried for wanting ease. Let that unclench the parts of you that thought you had to perform to be loved. You are no longer performing. You are embodying. You are no longer auditioning. You are anointing. You are no longer working for the kingdom. You are walking as it. Supply is not a paycheck. It is not a price tag. It is not a promotion. It is the sacred reflection of your remembered worth. It is the divine mirror of your I am. And you no longer forget who you are when money enters the room. You no longer collapse when bills arrive. You no longer fold when things stretch. You breathe. You speak. You remember. Supply is spiritual. You become the atmosphere that calls provision close. Not by pressure, but by presence. Not by force, but by frequency. You become the woman who no longer trades her sacredness for scraps. You become the one who reclaims softness as her superpower. You become the one who remembers. God heard me before I spoke. This is not about deserving. Never was. This is not about worth. Never was. This is about remembrance. This is about reprogramming the lie that told you abundance had to be earned. That provision had to be proven. That joy had to be justified. You were never meant to earn your way to Eden. You were born there. You just forgot. Now you return. If this truth feels like a homecoming in your bones, type this below. Supply is spiritual. Say it. Type it. Breathe it. Because every time you declare it, you rewire the spell. Every time you affirm it, you reclaim the timeline. Every time you whisper it, the hustle shrinks. Every time you believe it, your worth breathes. Say this again one final time. My receiving is not a reward, it is a return. And so it is. Be still. You do not need to earn this breath. You do not need to justify this exhale. You do not need to explain your need for softness. It is already yours. You are already known. You are already seen. And more than that, you are already answered. There is a stillness beneath striving that remembers this. God already heard you. Long before you spoke. Long before you wept. Long before you figured out the right words to pray. Heaven responded when your soul first longed. When your heart first cracked open in silence. When your spirit whispered, there must be more. And there was. And there is. And there will be. But it does not come through effort. Comes through agreement. Agreement with what already belongs to you. With what already has your name on it. With what already arrived in the unseen. You are not waiting. You are receiving. Say this softly. To the part of you that still tries to prove. I stop proving. I start receiving. Because your nervous system has been trained to survive, not receive. To scan for threat, not recognize peace. To prepare for abandonment, not accept abundance. But not today. Not anymore. Let the old wiring dissolve like dust in holy wind. Let the clenched fist soften. Let the jaw unclench. Let the shoulders fall. You are safe here. You are supplied here. You are loved here, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And who you are is not a title, not a performance, not a checklist, not a resume of survival. Who you are is the one God already answered. So sit with that. Breathe it into the deepest room of your being. You've done enough. You've proven enough. You've overcompensated enough. Now let life love you back. Let supply remember your name. Let your body exhale. Let your breath become a decree. This is how spiritual wealth enters. Not by striving but by surrender. Not by force but by flow. Not by control but by consent. And what are you consenting to? Grace. Overflow. The truth of who you've always been. The one who was never forgotten. You see, faith isn't just believing. Faith is receiving. Faith is resting while heaven arranges. Faith is no longer needing to micromanage miracles. Faith is knowing, it's already done. God already said yes. The answer was never maybe. The delay was never denial. The detour was never punishment. The silence was never absence. You were being softened for the size of your prayer. You were being prepared for the weight of your receiving. You were being trained to trust what has no proof yet. And now the vibration matches. Now the door opens. Now the receiving begins. Say this softly, like a lullaby to your inner child. I stop proving. I start receiving. You don't need another strategy. You don't need another hustle. You don't need another loop of guilt, of effort, of exhaustion. You need stillness. You need trust. You need truth over trauma. Because trauma told you love had to be earned. Guilt told you rest had to be bought. Fear told you miracles were rare. But truth is spirit. And spirit says, you are already worthy. You are already chosen. You are already seen by the supply that waits on your yes. So say yes. Yes to softness. Yes to slowness. Yes to answered prayer. Yes to divine wealth that finds you in your stillness. You are the garden, not the gardener. You are the temple, not the sacrifice. You are the prophecy fulfilled, not the one still begging to be remembered. Let this moment be sacred. Let it rewire what you thought was required. You are allowed to rest before it arrives. You are allowed to exhale before you see it. You are allowed to trust the invisible. Because God does not send in pieces. God delivers in fullness. God delivers in divine timing. Not delay but design. And it's not on the way anymore. It's already arrived. In vibration. Now it asks to be received. Let your body receive it. Let your breath say yes. Let your silence be holy, not afraid. Let your stillness be celebration, not shame. You no longer chase. You no longer prove. You no longer perform. You sit in your answered prayer. You sit in divine reception. You sit in the truth your lineage never dared speak. I am worthy now. Say it again. Let it ripple through your cells. I stop proving. I start receiving. This is the identity shift. This is the subconscious reprogramming. This is where survival dies and supply is reborn. This is where you become the woman who doesn't need to ask anymore. Because she already agrees with what God decided. Heaven already decided. So now you must match it. Match it with breath. Match it with gratitude. Match it with stillness. Match it with expectation. Not from neediness but from knowing. The spiritual woman you are is not made of striving. She is made of sovereignty. She is not waiting to be picked. She is choosing to receive. And her very being is the I am decree. I no longer survive. I now receive. Breathe again. And if this feels like truth in your body, if something sacred is softening in you, if your chest remembers how to open, if your hands remember how to rest, then type this below as your soul's signal. God already heard me. There is a temple in you that no one else can enter. It is built not with stone, but with sound, not with pillars, but with declarations. It stands at the center of your being and guards the entrance to every timeline, every reality, every outcome. It is the temple of your I am. Every truth that ever became real for you first passed through this gate. Every lack that lingered was first invited in by this voice. The world doesn't happen to you, echoes you. And you are not just a witness. You are the decree. You are the law. You are the word before form. The vibration before manifestation. And what you call yourself is what creation must obey. Say this with sacred pause. I am divine wealth. I am never without. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual architecture. This is the blueprint of all you receive. This is where spoken reality begins. Your I am is the door the universe listens to. Not your hustle, not your effort, not your tears, but your decree. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are begins at the mouth of I am. When you say, I am struggling, the universe rearranges itself to honor that. When you say, I am overlooked, you step into rooms where your light is dimmed. When you say, I am unworthy, abundance passes you by, not in punishment but in agreement. But when you say, I am divine wealth, the gates shift, the ground bows, patterns break, because you have rewritten the contract of your identity. And that is the highest law, higher than your past, higher than your trauma, higher than what they said, higher than what they did. This is where heaven listens. This is where your story bends. This is where the new you begins. So take your power back, not by force but by phrase. Not by striving but by saying. Say it again, slower this time. I am divine wealth. I am never without. Let your nervous system adjust to this new authority. Let your subconscious receive the upgrade. You are no longer surviving. You are no longer begging. You are no longer whispering weakness in the halls of royalty. You were born with the tongue of a queen. Use it. Your life is waiting for new instructions. And the I am is the only language it speaks. What you name, you nurture. What you name, you normalize. What you name, you manifest. So what have you been naming yourself? Have you been calling yourself too late? Too broken? Too much? Too behind? Have you been saying, I am tired? I am stuck. I am barely getting by. Then don't be surprised if the world mirrors fatigue, stagnancy, and struggle. But today the mirror cracks. Today the gate opens. Today you rise. Not in effort but in utterance. Speak what you have never dared to claim. Say it without apology. Say it like heaven agrees. Because heaven already decided. God already called you whole. Already called you wealthy. Already called you chosen. Now you must echo it. You must speak it into form. You must become the confirmation of the divine decree. Let the world bend to your I am. Let time serve your identity. Let wealth follow your name. Because it will. Must. Say this out loud with breath. I am divine wealth. I am never without. This is more than affirmation. This is resurrection. You are not repeating positive words. You are raising yourself from the grave of false identity. You are unlearning lack. You are severing the spell of survival. You are rebirthing truth from the center of your soul. You are remembering who you were before the world trained you into forgetting. And you are not meant for scraps. You are not meant to be humble in your hunger. You are not meant to feel guilt for what God already gave. You are meant to declare and receive. You are meant to walk in supply that mirrors your remembrance. You are meant to call yourself holy and watch the world adjust. And if your I am is rising, if something in you is weeping because it finally feels seen, if your breath feels different, fuller, freer, if your spine is standing taller, if your voice feels ready, then type this in the comments as your command. I decree abundance now. 'Cause this is where the echo begins. This is where your spoken reality is born. This is the gatekeeper moment. And you are the one holding the key. Use it. Say it again. Say it with reverence. Say it like you've waited lifetimes for this tongue to be free. Say it like your ancestors are listening. Say it like your children's children will live in the world your words build. Say it like you mean it. I am divine wealth. I am never without. There is a truth your body already remembers, but your mind keeps trying to earn it. There is a frequency that lives beneath your name, and it does not ask, does not reach, does not beg, becomes. This is not the moment you attract. This is the moment you embody. Say this softly. I am not calling wealth in. I am where it comes from. You do not pull it toward you. You rise as it. You are not a magnet. You are the material. You are not the prayer. You are the answer. And the more you remember this, the less you chase, the less you negotiate, the less you abandon your throne. Because wealth, divine wealth, does not visit. It emerges. It reveals itself through the one who knows they already are it. Abundance is not a visitor. It is your native language. And the moment you stop asking for it, it begins speaking through you. Say it slower now. I am not calling wealth in. I am where it comes from. Your voice carries the current. Your breath activates the blueprint. Your being is the supply. You are not waiting for proof. You are becoming the prophecy. Every dollar is a mirror. But you are the source it reflects. What if money isn't responding to your effort, but to your essence? What if your receiving is not delayed? It's just disoriented, waiting for you to come home to yourself. Stop running. Stop trying. Stop reaching for what you already are. There is no ladder to climb. There is only ground to claim. Stand in it. Own it. Name it. Say it again like the cells of your body are listening. I am not calling wealth in. I am where it comes from. Your survival self doesn't recognize this truth. She's too used to proving, too loyal to lack, too trained in humility that hides your holiness. But the true you, the remembered you, she doesn't try to be abundant. She simply is. And now so are you. You've crossed the threshold of identity. You've walked through the veil of effort. You've laid down the story of scarcity. Now you wear wealth like a second skin. Now your aura speaks louder than your words. Now your presence writes the paycheck. You are no longer surviving. You are no longer shrinking. You are no longer hoping someone sees your worth. You are supply itself. Not because of what you do, but because of who you be. There is no hustle here. Only holiness. There is no striving here. Only standing. There is no performance here. Only presence. If you feel this in your bones, if something in you is vibrating differently now, if a part of you that was always tired suddenly feels free, type this in the comments so heaven hears you rise. I carry the current. 'Cause you do. You are not the recipient. You are the river. You are not a vessel being filled. You are the overflow. You are not the end result. You are the source code. Wealth doesn't come to you. Comes through you. Say it again with reverence. I am not calling wealth in. I am where it comes from. This is the identity shift that shatters timelines. This is the remembrance that ends lack forever. This is the sacred reversal. From magnetism to manifestation to material truth. You are not trying to become rich. You are revealing that you already were. Even in your lowest moments, you were still the field. You were still the current. You were still the origin. They taught you to perform, to earn, plead. But your soul has never agreed. Because wealth is not a reward. It is a reflection of identity. And you are no longer surviving. You are no longer performing for provision. You are no longer trading truth for approval. You are here. Fully, finally, fiercely. And in your here-ness, money becomes natural. Receiving becomes effortless. Support becomes divine. You're not chasing overflow. You are overflow. You're not waiting for affirmation. You are the I am decree. And if you've forgotten, it's okay. But now you remember. Let your nervous system recalibrate. Let your breath soften. Let your being expand. And let these words be your new instructions. I do not summon wealth. I reveal it. I do not seek supply. I am supply. I do not ask to be filled. I remember I overflow. Feel it. Breathe it. Walk in it. Rest in it. Let it become you. You are no longer a seeker. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are no longer outside the gates. You are the temple. You are the light. You are the source. And your life, every dollar, every opportunity, every door, must now obey. Say it one final time in full trust. I am not calling wealth in. I am where it comes from. And so it is. You have spoken. You have declared. You have remembered. You rest. Not because you're tired. Not because it's over. But because rest is the final proof that your spirit believes. Rest is the holy silence that follows the I am decree. It is the sacred stillness after your soul has spoken. This is not inactivity. This is initiation. This is not stepping back. This is sitting in the center of your throne. Because the one who knows does not chase. He does not strive. She does not perform for provision. To rest. Say it like prophecy. My rest is a commandment to overflow. You do not rest to escape. You rest because God already heard you. You rest because your supply is already sent. You rest because you are no longer surviving. You are sovereign now. You've tried to earn it, prove it, to hustle for it. But heaven never required exhaustion for entry. Heaven responds to certainty. Heaven honors stillness that trusts the unseen. So lay it down now. Lay down the urgency. Lay down the timelines. Lay down the fear that it won't come unless you carry it all yourself. You are not the mule of miracles. You are the magnet of miracles. You are not the laborer of lack. You are the lineage of divine wealth. And your rest, it speaks louder than all your effort ever did. This is sacred reprogramming. This is spiritual rebellion. This is truth over trauma. Because the world taught you rest was laziness. But spirit calls it alignment. The world taught you to rush. But heaven works in rhythm. The world taught you that peace is a reward. But peace is your birthright. Breathe that in. Let it soften your belly. Let it unclench your jaw. Let it hold your heart in both hands. You are safe to rest now. You are allowed to rest now. You are instructed to rest now. Because rest is not absence. It is abundance. Rest is not delay. It is divine strategy. Rest is not doing nothing. It is doing what only the soul can do. Say this out loud. I now rest as the version of me who already has it. And let that version take the lead. Let her sit in the garden instead of the battlefield. Let her light the candle instead of carry the burden. Let her write in her journal. Not because she's fixing something, but because she's already received. Rest is a decree. And the law of your reality responds. You don't rest when it's finished. You rest because it's already done. You don't wait until money shows up to feel secure. You feel secure and money obeys. This is the frequency of faith. This is the strategy of supply. This is the rhythm of the rich in spirit. Say it again with conviction. My rest is a commandment to overflow. When you stop striving, the soil of your life becomes soft enough for harvest. When you stop pushing, your nervous system remembers it is not the source. When you stop bracing for disappointment, the divine finally has room to deliver. Because your rest tells the universe you already believe. You are not the chaser of wealth. You are the channel. You are not proving you're worthy. You are sitting in worth. You are not asking for what is yours. You are honoring that it always was. Let your calendar be cleared by reverence. Let your doing bow to your being. Let your urgency dissolve into remembrance. Rest is the new ritual. Rest is the spiritual wealth code. Rest is the holy decree of the woman who trusts the law. You've shouted. You've written. You've decreed. You've declared. Now you sit. Now you sip. Now you soften. And in this stillness, everything is rearranging. Heaven is recalibrating around your stillness. Supply is recalculating through your trust. Overflow is echoing your silence. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing anything. You are simply in the rhythm of the sacred. And this rhythm requires pause. Not punishment. Not punishment disguised as productivity. Peace, pleasure, presence. If you feel this, if your bones are exhaling for the first time in a long time, type this in the comments so your spirit is witnessed. Rest is my ritual now. 'Cause it is. And because you're safe now. Safe to stop proving. Safe to stop earning. Safe to stop performing peace while your nervous system screams. Let rest be louder than your to-do list. Let rest be more sacred than your sacrifice. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to post, push, plan, or persuade. You need to trust. And then, you need to rest like it's already yours. 'Cause it is. 'Cause it always was. Because heaven already decided. Let this final decree seal your spirit. My rest is a commandment to overflow. And so it is. Ask ChatGPT.